Hello everyone. Hope everyone doing well. Um, so welcome to Vaayusastra Aerospace Future Scientists Meet Chapter number 30. So Vetrigarama, we almost reached 30 chapters and we have 4 presenters. Uh, uh, so there are a lot of fans also out here for the people who continuously present as well, because I get a lot of messages like that. So one such presenter is our Naman. So we have Naman today, then Riya, Kashika, and Sri Karthikeyan. So they are out with like one Naman is doing his 13th part of his series. Then some Riya is coming up with some new topic, SpaceX related topic. Karthikeyan, one of the most favorite upcoming projects of NASA, or dreamy projects for all the humanity. So that's related to Artemis, and, lunar eclipse. Kashika is doing lunar eclipse. Okay, so for those who are watching Vaayusastra for the first time, who we are, what we do. So Vaayusastra is a tech startup under IIT Madras Incubation Cell and Rural Technology Business Incubator. So it was incubated under both Incubation Cell and RTBI. And we have received grant for this educational service. So what service we do? So I love airplanes or aeronautics or rockets from my age 5. But I had to wait 18 years. That's like college first year, not 18 years. 15, 18 years. 18 years to learn at least the basic parts or how things work. But after joining that, I realized that wait is not needed. So you can teach all those things for an 8-year-old student or 6-year-old student using correct methods, like different methods. For example, we watch, children keep on watching cartoons, right? We don't know why they are watching. They don't either they understand it or not. They just keep on watching, and parents keep shouting. Why you are keep watching cartoon and all? And the even with all these kutti babies, you play that yummy yummy song. I've seen some choo choo TV songs. Unless you play that song, you won't open the choo choo TV. They keep eating. So children love all these cartoon characters, stories. So we designed a curriculum where we teach all this basic using all this storytelling methods. Like first, for at least for 4 or 5 levels, it almost goes with a lot of stories. And once they advance in the level, they themselves understood, and it goes technical. So that's like a mix of all these things. But mostly it travels into storytelling method. And to understand the methodology, I write article in Hindu Young World. So those if you buy Hindu, buy that, subscribe to that Young World edition and read Fly High. So I combine characters from Ramayana, Megnath, and Hanuman. Uh, so the story revolves around in their perspective, so not in conventional way. It's a different science perspective of everything. That's all. So other than that, we do college programs, and we have R&D team, all these things. So everything is offline and hands-on before pandemic. So after pandemic, I was forced to do start online module because I'm not a big fan of online modules. But the magic happened during pandemic. We started something called Trigger the Spark. After reading life of people like Abdul Kalam, Elon Musk, Wright brothers. So we created this module with a lot of stories, simple science modules, and it worked beautifully. You can see all these future scientists with lot of visions. So all these normally they do you know how do they talk? They talk about asteroid mining, colonizing Mars, Titan, Pluto, and they talk about exoplanet traveling faster than light. So you don't get to hear these sort of that too in a detailed manner. Like they researched for more than 1 year. This is happening like we do this as exercise for more than 1 year. We started live before 4 months. So they do this as like this become like a habit now. So this is like they casually know a lot of things, though which I learned only in my masters or like more than that. So after starting company, so I'm glad. So a lot of there are some students started their own company, have their own team of company, or started writing books, started writing more articles, and started their own YouTube channels. A lot of sparky things I can see. So these are the people who are going to be the people who are going to decide the future of space industry. Okay, so let's go ahead with our presentation. The first presentation, the man of the 13th chapter, planets of solar system and beyond, and 13 chapters. Every chapter is not less like 15 to 30 minutes each. Just calculate it, no? 13 into 30 minutes,
More than
7
6
hours.
hours.
6 hours, more than 6 hours.
390 minutes.
Yeah. You have a person, you have a student who is in grade 5 from Ekya school who can able to give like he can able to deliver content of 7 hours about solar system and beyond. Not only this, he had a separate topics about alloys. He has separate a lot of other topics as well. So Ekya school who are watching this, principal or teachers, not this boy. So give him a chance on once the school starts. Kindly make him to present in front of you. Okay, Naman, stage is yours.
So thank you, Jagu, for that. So we're not gonna waste any more time. Jagu, can you allow screen share?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. So, planets of the solar system and beyond, part 13 by Naman and Aerospace Now, which is me. So, a quick note to whoever is new in these live streams. This is a series where I talk about planets of the solar system and further to the exoplanets, which I've reached actually. This will go on until I run out of planets to discuss on. Thank you and enjoy. I might do other presentations in between. Rules while I present. No interruptions. Questions at the end of the presentation. Interactions are clearly allowed. Raise your hand to interact. Feedback and suggestions at the end. Sit back and relax while I present. Not copying content. So, Kepler 186f. What kind of an exoplanet is Kepler 186f? Kepler 186f, also known by its Kepler Object of Interest designation (KOE 571.05), is an exoplanet orbiting the red dwarf Kepler 186 about 500 light-years or 178.5 parsecs or nearly 5 into 1015 kilometers from the Earth. It is the first planet with a radius similar to Earth's to be discovered in the habitable zone of another star. NASA's Kepler Space Telescope detected it using the transit method, along with 4 additional planets orbiting much closer to the star, all modestly larger than Earth. Analysis of 3 years of data was required to find its signal. The results were presented initially at a conference on 19th March 2014, and some details were reported in the media at the time. The public announcement was on 17th April 2014, followed by publication. The only physical property directly derivable of that of the central star, which follows from the amount of occultation of stellar light during a transit. This ratio was measured to be 0.021, giving a planetary radius of 1.11 to 0.4 times that of Earth. The planet is about 11 percent larger in radius than Earth, which is 0.5 times smaller and 26.5% larger, giving a volume of about 1.37 times that of Earth, between 0.87 and 2.03 times as large. So, a little bit continuation. A very wide range of possible masses can be calculated by combining the radius with densities derived from the possible types of matter from which planets can be made. For example, it could be a rocky terrestrial planet or a lower density ocean planet with a thick atmosphere. A massive hydrogen helium atmosphere is thought to be unlikely in a planet with a radius below 1.5 Jupiter radius. Planets with a radius of more than 1.5 times that of Earth tend to accumulate the thick atmospheres, which make them less likely to be habitable. The red dwarfs emit a much stronger extreme ultraviolet flux when young than later in life. The planet's primordial atmosphere would have been subjected to elevated photoevaporation during the period, which would probably have largely removed any hydrogen or helium-rich envelope through hydrodynamic mass loss. So the estimated equilibrium temperature for Kepler 186f, which is basically the surface temperature without an atmosphere, because Kepler 186f has an atmosphere just like Earth, and equilibrium temperature is surface temperature without the atmosphere. And it is said to be around 188 Kelvin. It may seem like a lot, but no, just now. Negative 85 degrees Celsius or negative 121 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhat colder than the equilibrium temperature of Mars. So you might say for now that according to temperature, Mars is much easier to colonize than Kepler 186f. And I can agree. I can say, yeah, that's true. Kepler 186f orbits the star with about 5% of the Sun's luminosity, with an orbital period of 1 to 9.9 days and an orbital radius of about 0.4 times that of Earth compared to 0.39 AU for Mercury, which is astronomical units. The habitable zone for this system is estimated conservatively to extend over distances receiving from 88% to 25% of Earth's illumination, from 0.23 to 0.46 AU. Kepler 186f receives about 32%, placing it within the conservative zone or habitable zone, but near the outer edge, similar to the position of Mars in our planetary system. So we're going to talk about some follow-up studies. As part of the SCTI Institute's search for extraterrestrial intelligence, the Allen Telescope Array had listened for radio emissions from the Kepler 186 system for about a month as of 17th April 2014, which is the date it was publicly announced. No signals attributable to extraterrestrial technology were found in that interval. However, to be detectable, such transmissions, if radiated in all directions equally and thus not preferentially towards the Earth, would need to be at least 10 times as strong as those from the Arecibo Observatory. Another search, undertaken at the crowdsourcing project SCTI Live, reports inconclusive but optimistic-looking signs in the radio noise from the Allen Array observations. The more well-known SCTI at home search does not cover any object in the Kepler field of view. Another follow-up survey using the Green Bank telescope has not reviewed Kepler 186f. Given the interstellar distance of 490 light-years or 151 parsecs, the signals would have left the planet many years ago. At nearly 582 light-years distant, Kepler 186f is too far and the star too faint for current telescopes or the next generation of planet telescopes to determine its mass or whether it has an atmosphere. However, the discovery of Kepler 186f demonstrates conclusively that there are other Earth-sized planets in habitable zones. The Kepler spacecraft focused on a single small region of the sky, but next-generation planet-hunting space telescopes, such as TESS and CHOPS, will examine nearby stars throughout the sky. Nearby stars with planets can then be studied by the upcoming James Webb Space Telescope and future large ground-based telescopes to analyze atmospheres, determine masses, and infer compositions. Additionally, the square kilometer array would significantly improve radio observations over the Arecibo Observatory and the Big Green Bank Telescope. So we can conclude by this that there is more advanced tech, but Kepler 186f is too far from us to actually be detectable. So is Kepler 186f colonizable? That is always a question. Kepler 186f's location within the habitable zone does not ensure it is habitable, even though it possibly could be, and it's a high rate. This is also dependent on its atmospheric characteristics, which is true, but unknown. However, Kepler 186f is too distant for its atmosphere to be analyzed by existing telescopes, example NESI, or next-generation instruments such as James Webb Space Telescope. A simple climate model, which shows the climate, in which the planet's inventory of volatiles is restricted to nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and water, and clouds are not accounted for, suggests that the planet's surface temperature would be above the freezing point, which is 273 Kelvin or 0 degrees Celsius. If at least 0.5 to 5 bars of CO2 is present in its atmosphere, for assumed and to partial pressures ranging from 10 bar to 0 respectively. So Kepler 186f may not seem colonizable, but with modern tech we can change it. So the answer is a yes. But the first problem is to detect all the characteristics. So we'll have to face that and then think about colonizing it. So some images of Kepler 186f. Take a look at them closely and memorize them because they're going to come in the quiz. So as you can see, it's rocky, seems rocky, just like Mars, but it's brownish. So it's time for a quiz.
This time,
Thank you. Any doubts? Please do share feedback and suggestions. Meanwhile, I'll get the quiz ready.
else can be asked. Mr. Nama, research crew member.
Can I ask a doubt?
Yes. Go ahead.
Naman, you told about Kepler 186f temperature, surface temperature, right? It
Yes.
is habitable to humans or not?
Yes, it is above the freezing point, so it is habitable.
Okay,
Even on
but
Earth, there is
I
nearly freezing
think
temperatures, but it's suitable.
okay. I think 85 degrees Celsius is the temperature of liquid nitrogen. It could be so colder, right?
That is the
How?
equilibrium temperature I said. And you know what is equilibrium temperature? Equilibrium temperature is basically the surface temperature of a planet without its atmosphere. But
Yeah.
Kepler 186f has an atmosphere, and with the atmosphere, it is above the freezing point. But without an atmosphere, it's negative 85 degrees.
That
Celsius.
means it is for habitable by humans, and we will not put space suits, and we can live there.
Yes, possibly, but first we need to get all the information because it is too
We
far.
are just
Yeah,
seen it in
it's
say, telescope.
yes, it's too dim.
Okay, thank you.
Any
Nice.
other doubts? While I get the quiz ready.
Okay. Quiz link. Hi, Ryansh. Ryansh channel featured in Vaayusastra.
Anna link. Just a second.
Okay.
In which channel near Pondar was? Yes, yeah. Wait, I'm opening the preview so I can show it while the live is going on, right? Any other doubts meanwhile?
Yeah. Doubts?
No. No doubt.
Okay.
Kepler. Maybe who are watching it, maybe do a small research. Why do they name all this planet Kepler, Kepler, Kepler? There are so many hundreds.
Jago, it's because it's
Simple.
found. It has been discovered by the Kepler telescope.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
by
Yes, it has
another
already discovered by
man,
the
Kepler
Kepler Space
telescope will one day
Telescope.
become
Anna.
the only will have 1 million names, sir, for each planet. For each year,
Kepler,
in each
Kepler,
year,
Kepler
Kepler,
1 billion
Kepler,
F.
Kepler,
in
It's
each
Kepler
year
1
it will find
billion
500 planets, and the 500 planets will be named after it.
Yeah. In Ant
Kepler, 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 Kepler,
Ant-Man
Kepler.
movie,
One day we'll run out of numbers only.
So this
Yes.
and
Or
they will
else
name
we'll have
one
to invent
Kepler
a new number.
infinity and negative.
in the
Anna,
Ant-Man
you write a book as well, na?
for all the ants.
This Naman is currently attending class somewhere foreign
Naman started.
because today also he worked. We had a meeting for tomorrow's presentation, Aerospace Now. So this boy is telling it's morning 11:20 over here.
CEO of Aerospace Now. Your name is CTO.
I am the production is the CEO.
Yes.
நீ குழப்பின question
Production is the
so
CEO.
I'm asking
Anna, tomorrow aerospace
Yeah.
Aerospace Now presentation.
Okay, so the
There
question
was
was,
5 or 6 members, I think so.
Yeah, six
Yes.
members.
all are like rock stars. So all this like mass gang it is. And,
Martians.
and we have one youngest
Martian.
presenter doing a presentation tomorrow as well. Sunena.
Yeah,
Yeah, sir. Sunana,
New
second
presenter.
standard.
Us.
In second grade.
Earlier, Meera used to have
He
done
is already in a young
younger than
researcher
me.
group.
Participation is going.
Naman,
Where-
have you sent the link?
Okay, it's ready and
So you are not allowed everyone.
Okay, yeah, now
No,
we
don't
got
worry, sir will send it to everyone.
No.
Now you can.
I send it.
Okay, now sir, now we can send.
The question was,
Thank you, Naman.
Kepler is end of the day one scientist name of a scientist. So maybe in future it's all be Kepler. So do one research about why Kepler is so given such important because what did he do like that? Because of him, lot of things happen.
and there is also
Yes,
a
Yes, Jago, I
special
will try to
feature
research
in
and
your
will make a
report.
Yes, sir, thank for
presentation.
my next presentation topic, sir. It's not getting a topic.
Sir, you Jagu itself told the topic.
Naman,
Actually,
I have a
really
presentation.
topic.
Naman, Anna.
Yeah.
Anna, you write as a book. What happened?
No, this boy,
Yes,
he will write a book on his planets around the solar system and
Actually, Naman, you can do it. You can do it. So we have a publisher ready to publish if you guys come up with these things. I can.
Yeah, Anna.
Yeah.
You
I'll make sure it
publish
gets
means
published.
whole world was see you.
Yeah.
Where?
I'm going to write a science fiction storybook to do.
No, I'm writing it down. Writing it.
Oh,
Naman,
I joined.
Naman, great
Yeah.
choice. Nearpod platform. Very nice. And then quizzes.
Yes.
And very funny too.
it is it is much better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I used to
Yes.
personally use
Okay.
quizzes because
Naman, don't mistakenly show the answer.
quizzes I
God.
normally
Yeah.
use.
Why is history popping up?
Anish.
People are there in the meeting, but
I am Laika the dog.
Yes.
like a dog.
Yeah, the first dog on the moon.
Lot of
But-
people like this panda. Then
Tomorrow we are doing a quiz on not near. We're not even doing it on board ball, not even on quizzes, not even on nearpod.
I know what it is.
It's Kahoot. It's Kahoot.
Oh my God.
Some person.
One second.
Yeah, I also heard in foreign and all they will do this.
Yeah, actually Kahoot is actually used for education. I heard in foreign.
It is educational based.
Yeah, but even you can use it for
What? Click on
presentation.
that.
I feel like the
What?
Naman,
bird
start
is
the
stopped.
quiz.
Start,
Yeah.
start.
And
Because
yeah, one more is coming in.
One more is connecting.
Okay.
Yes, it's connecting.
Okay.
I want 10 again.
Every
At
time,
least 10.
no, not
At
every
Anna,
time.
1
least
second,
Just
10.
Anna, please, Anna. I joined in. It's still roaring.
Yeah, don't take your time.
I'm going to attempt this quiz even without attending the presentation.
Okay, fine. Good luck.
Just try. I don't-
Try. I mean, there's no trying. And there is a special feature in AirPod where you can actually use images as answers.
Yeah, you can actually post
Yes.
images from a screenshot from Google as answer.
Yes.
Jaggu, when
Yes,
I
you-
connected to the quiz, it said near pod. Let's climb up. If you have very poor internet connection, it's like climbing Mount Everest.
So the designer, I want to see that designer. It's like crazy.
Start. Naman, start.
One more.
Naman, I guess
Still
one
on
more
9.
guy has no network.
Okay,
Let
then.
that person.
Yeah, put it in.
Please start,
One
Naman.
join.
I'm
Aishwarya,
waiting.
join this airport.
Someone please join from YouTube also. Some person please join. This quiz will
Otherwise,
now
someone
start.
is not going to start.
Raghu, did you publish it in YouTube Live?
I'll ask them
Put it on YouTube.
please
Yeah,
join.
we should do that.
Yes.
Aishwarya, join in. She don't know the link. Just Aishwarya, just click the link in the chat box, no?
Okay.
Sent it
One
when I
more.
saw it in the
One
YouTube
more.
chat.
Close to
Please
perfect.
join.
I'm waiting for the players.
Who was that who jumped up right?
Server problem, Jaku.
It's okay. It's
It was
more.
Satyaki.
Click
It was
on the link.
Satyaki.
Actually, why does someone join from YouTube live?
Yes, it happens.
It's their choice.
Maybe actually everyone watching is us only.
They want us.
After YouTube Live, everything is going to happen.
I
Yeah.
think we can start once.
Yeah,
you
it will be
Okay,
so
I'm
much
starting.
Because
funny
they're
if
mainly
we are all
teachers.
only watching.
Yes, so they're mainly teachers.
Okay,
That's why.
started.
Okay. Which one of the following is Kepler 186F?
Oh, if
You
you
need to
have
guess.
seen the presentation, then easy juicy.
It should be easy. And by half to the time this time. What? Okay. Wow.
Nice.
Is Kepler 186F colonizable? Yes or no? Just simple.
Yes, or no?
Naman, what is the poll question? Just asking.
What? What is that?
I'm just asking, was that a poll question? Because some people will find some reason because
No, that was not a poll. It was Q&A.
Okay.
Said it. Okay, how far is Kepler 186 from? Not Kepler 186F. Okay. After the points, you need to be faster.
You have to be fast like a tiger. Some famous
When was the discovery of Kepler 186F announced?
You know who the character who came and took one session for us? How many of you remember? Okay, after the quiz.
Yeah. So, unusually followed by Satyaki, Darsh, Riyansh, and
Just
Kevin.
miss. You have to be fast like a tiger, but you're three tortoise.
Wait, there's 10 people. One kid still joining.
I know only 2 questions I got correct.
Kepler 186F orbits a star with about -% of the sun's luminosity.
like not in clicking around.
Kepler 186F is not in the habitable zone. True or false? Okay. Next question.
Kepler 186. Yeah.
Has an equilibrium temperature of dash and a regular surface temperature of dash, which is in Kelvin. Okay, Kepler 186f has a massive atmosphere of dash. Hydrogen, helium, hydrogen, oxygen, ozone, helium, oxygen, ozone.
It has 10 seconds time, but if you are thinking too much about the question, it just runs out, I think.
Radius of Kepler 186f in Jupiter radius 1.5, 2.5, more below 1.5, and 3. Okay, Karthikeyan is leading. Which method was used? I meant used. Discover Kepler 186. It's a very simple answer. Translate. Okay.
Oh, I got second.
Yep, managed per off. Which is the operated period of Kepler 186f in days? Final question.
I think I got 5 questions correct.
Okay. Anish is
Late.
Anish, Karthikeyan, Darsh, Matyesh, Aishwarya, Srijit, Adrit, Shuktiki, Bhairavi.
But it was a very fun.
Don't end it. Don't end it. So someone show the leaderboard.
Yes.
I.
Okay, I stop sharing.
But it was
So-
very fun quiz, Naman.
Wait.
Very interesting.
I love that.
Very funny animation for
Okay.
kids.
We have Anish, Karthik, and Dash. I'm going to
Yeah.
take screenshot. Awesome.
Great.
Beautiful.
Jagu take a
Wait,
MacBook
Naman.
screenshot. Jagu's
Yeah.
MacBook screenshot voice was clearly visible. That tone. Even I have a MacBook Pro. So that sound is different of MacBook. The screenshot sound.
Yeah.
Hey.
Naman, the sixth question was quite easy because
The sixth question was the easiest.
I think the
Yeah, true
yeah,
or
because we
false.
already put a
Question I
question based
forgot.
on
I
that.
don't know who gave it true.
The
Exactly.
habitable zone.
Guys,
And-
network seems to be low, she said. She may share her presentation in the group if she needs help.
Okay.
Okay, nice. So Naman, well done, super duper presentation.
Amazing presentation, Anna.
Short and
Thank you,
sweet, but
everyone.
interesting.
That's a cute quiz in the end. And, well done. Let's do a news round of applause for Naman. All of you go on mute. I want to hear some sounds because this online no sounds.
Only message ringtone sound.
Thank you so much, Naman.
Very interesting presentation.
Well done, well done. Next, let me welcome our Riya from Isha Vidya Matriculation Secondary School, grade 9. She is going to take this trending topic, SpaceX research, SpaceX, what it means. I have to ask her. And personally, most of us are space enthusiasts or must be like big fans of Elon Musk and his vision or the works.
Riya was joining a SpaceX company.
Yeah, she can. There are high possibilities.
No, Jago, you need a green card of USA.
Yeah, once if she gets selected, we make sure she gets it.
She needs to get a green card of the US before.
SpaceX will start their unit in a few years after.
But Jago, you need a green card of the USA. It's not like.
Yeah.
So, the only problem is joining SpaceX is that only.
So it may happen. She is in right place now. Okay. So Riya, you can start. She is a grade 9 student from Isha Vidya Matriculation School. Yeah, உங்கள் presentation
Is my screen visible?
ஆமா.
Yes.
And baby is singing in the background. That's what they do.
Screen visible.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna start. SpaceX is a space SpaceX. That's today's topic. So, presentation by S J, Riya, Isha Vidya School, Nagar, and grade 9. So, about SpaceX. So, many of you know about SpaceX, so I will tell it shortly. SpaceX was formed in 2002 in Hawthorne, California by entrepreneur Elon Musk in the hopes of revolutionizing the aerospace industry and making affordable spaceflight a reality. The company entered the arena with the Falcon 1 rocket, a two-staged liquid fuel craft designed to send small satellites into orbit, and now it was one of the successful company. So this is the image of SpaceX. So SpaceX rockets. So first Falcon 1, 2006 to 2009. Its mass is 28,000 kg, 62,000 lb. Its payload is to LEO and SSO. It is a two-stage rocket. Total launches is 5, success is 2, and failure is 3. So its height is 21 meters, 69 feet. So next is Falcon 9 version 1.0, which is 3,33,400 kg and 7,35,000 lb. Its payload is to LEO and GTO, and it is also a two-stage rocket. Total launches is 5, success is 4, and partial failure is 1. Its height is 47.8 meters, 157 feet. Falcon 9 version 1.1. It is from 2013 to 2016. It is 13,150 kg, 28,990 lb. So payload to LEO and GTO. It is two-staged rocket. Total launches are 15 and success is 14. Failure is 1. So its height is 68.4 meters, which is 224 feet. Falcon 9 full thrust block 5. Its mass is 8,300 kg, 18,300 lb. Its payload is to LEO, GTO, and Mars. It is also a two-staged rocket. Total launches are 72. Success also 72. There is no failure. If you see that all the rockets, everything was in success. There was more success than failure. So it is 71 meters, 233 feet. Falcon Heavy. Its mass is 14,20,788 kg, 31,25,730 lb. Its payload is to LEO, GTO, MTO, and Pluto. It is also a two-staged rocket. Total launches are 3, success is 3, and there is no failure. It is 70 meters and 230 feet. So you all know that Falcon Heavy launched the Tesla Roadster. So where is SpaceX Starman? Elon Musk red Tesla Roadster carrying a dummy with a SpaceX
suit has just completed its second orbit. The SpaceX CEO's electrical vehicle made headlines when it was launched into space on February 6, 2018, aboard a Falcon Heavy, the first flight for the world's most powerful operational rocket. Over the past 2 years, the rocket's second stage, with the mounted Tesla Roadster, has been floating through the space on an elliptical orbit that it completes every 557 days, according to the report. So, when will Starman return to Earth? As for Earth, astronomers have calculated that Starman's next close approach with its home planet will happen in 2047 within 3 million miles. It's somewhat unlikely that Starman will be brought back to Earth in the near future, but perhaps technological advances in the distant future could make this possible. So this is the orbit of Tesla Roadster. It is orbiting Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and slightly orbiting the Mars. It's an elliptical orbit. So next is Starship. Its mass is 14,20,788 kg, which is 31,25,735 lb. It is a two-staged rocket. Its payload is to LEO. It is a fully reusable rocket, while others are partially or slightly reusable. It is the highest rocket. Its height is 120 meters and 390 feet. So the stage one of Starship, it's called as Super Heavy. The Super Heavy itself 70 meters and 230 feet. So the first stage, or we can call it booster, of our next generation launch system has a gross lift-off mass of over 3 million kg and uses sub-cooled liquid methane and liquid oxygen propellants. The booster will return to land at the launch site on its 6 legs. So next one is the second stage of Starship, which is also called as Starship. Its height is 50 meters, 160 feet. Starship is a fully reusable spacecraft and the second stage of Starship system. It offers an integrated payload section and is capable of carrying passengers and cargo to Earth orbit, planetary destinations, and between destinations on Earth. So, Earth-to-Earth transportation with the Starship. With the Starship and Super Heavy, most international long-distance trips would be completed in 30 minutes or less. In addition to vastly increased speed, one great benefit to traveling in space outside of Earth's atmosphere is lack of friction as well as turbulence and weather. Imagine most journeys taking less than 30 minutes with access to anywhere in the world in an hour or less. So now what aeroplane is doing, the same thing the Starship will do in future. That's the idea of Elon Musk. So this is the time comparisons. So Los Angeles to New York, Bangkok to Dubai, Tokyo to Singapore, London to New York to Paris, Sydney to Singapore, Los Angeles to London. Its distance is this much. And if we go in commercial airline, it takes 5 hours, 25 minutes, 6 hours, 25 minutes, 7 hours, 10, like this more hours it's taking. But if we travel in Starship, it just takes 25 minutes, 27 minutes, 28 minutes, 29, 30, 31, 32. So Raptor engine of Starship. The Raptor engine is a reusable methalox stage combustion engine that powers the Starship launch system. Raptor engine engines began flight testing on the Starship prototype rockets in July 2019, becoming the first full-flow staged combustion rocket engine ever flown. So, SpaceX rockets of SpaceX, Falcon Heavy and Starship. Why we call Falcon Heavy and Starship SpaceX rockets of SpaceX? You can see. We call it like that because they both can launch something in space and return safely to Earth without any damage. So they are called as SpaceX rockets of SpaceX. So Starship, Falcon Heavy and Boomerang comparison. Any ideas you can tell what similarities they both have? Any ideas?
They all return back to your
They are heavy.
They return back to the same position.
They are heavy.
They return back.
They return back
Exactly.
to the same place.
So there is one more point we can see. Boomerang, Starship, Falcon Heavy all work in the principle of aerodynamics. So you missed this point. When we launch Starship or Falcon Heavy, it flies to space and launch something and returns to its same place safely. Likewise, when we throw a boomerang, it flies for some time and returns to our hand back safely. So this point is correct. So here is the So now you see this both boomerang and falcon.
Yes, sir.
Falcon Heavy. So it's Starship, this is Falcon Heavy, and this is Boomerang. So it have launched and returned back safely. So the next one is Starbase. The SpaceX South Texas launch site, referred to by SpaceX as Starbase and also known as Boca Chica launch site, is a private rocket production facility, test site and spaceport constructed by SpaceX, located at Boca Chica, approximately 32 kilometers, which is 20 miles east of Brownsville, Texas, on the US Gulf Coast. So this is the image of Starbase.
Nice.
So tour to SpaceX and Starbase. Jagu, 1 minute, I stop sharing.
Yeah.
So can you see SpaceX?
Yeah.
Without passport or anything, green card, we can go like this.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Hey, let's go inside SpaceX, boys and girls.
but we can't go inside. We can just see. It's
But still, the outside view is also. Like, Google what provides. You can also see NASA from outside.
yeah,
Google
yeah.
Earth.
1 minute.
But there's only one problem. You need to keep clicking on that pointer again and again.
Yeah.
Control. You cannot control it with the mouse or keyboard. Easier.
So here is what we can say. This is the part of a rocket. They keep for displaying it.
The lamppost kind of thing.
Yes, Abu. So like this, I also have for star base, but it takes more time for responding. You can try going any place by using Google Earth. At last, I will teach if we have time.
Okay.
I found it.
Oh, okay. So as it is taking more time, we can complete the presentation and you can see it.
Yes.
So next is my model of Starship and Starbase. Who is eager to see?
I like to.
Or like,
All of us want to.
yeah, just
This is the for audience. This is the Riya's model of Starship and Starbase. Nice. See, she spent a lot of time creating this.
See the thread, it will come
Yeah,
and
yeah, I can see it. Nice.
it's pure working model.
yeah,
Like, oh, this is nice.
it's not working model,
So
just
stop motion, huh?
yeah.
Time
So
lapse.
Yeah.
Created a pure time lapse.
Beautiful. Actually, it's it's nice.
thank you.
I love it. Nice.
So you can take her video separately and just put it on the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 1 minute.
Yeah, we can upload this. This did you make video of this thing?
Okay, Jagu.
Super.
So,
Because
Akka, you play that video.
I will play. So here, 1 minute. I remove my virtual background. So can you see it?
yes. It's not small.
Yes.
Wow, you fixed lights inside.
Yeah, Jagu. So it is the second stage of Starship, and here is the first stage.
So company
Nice.
people who
Super.
are having their own target space, aerospace now. So there's one potential candidate out here.
So
Bhairavi also here. Bhairavi is starting her own company as well.
Akka, you play that video, Akka.
1 minute. So this is the video. last. If you accept and learn from the failure and started to move forward, it is your first step for success. You cannot see the root, but the growth of the trees depend upon the root. Likewise, success depends upon the dedication, discipline, creativity, passion, learning from the failure, effort of the people. So what we learn from Elon Musk is he also made so many failures, but his learning from his failure, effort, dedication, and passion made him successful. So thank you. I will post the link.
Amazing presentation, Akka.
Emotional. Shall we go give a huge round of applause for Riya? All of you to unmute. You can see while the video is going, I can see all of your faces.
Aishwarya Akka, in Google Earth, I found that place.
Oh.
Starbase.
Yeah, I also took and keep, so I have now shared the link.
It takes up a lot of your computer becomes slow if you try to use that.
Okay, I have shared the link.
Okay. Put it on my live.
Very nice presentation.
Thank you.
You create a own company or
I joined.
Oh, okay.
They're asking you, will you create your own company or you want to join with someone?
I don't have any decision, but I will tell it soon.
Okay.
okay, Akka.
Okay. So 12 people are there, so please join. Jaggu, you also please. Yes, from mobile.
There is 7 members.
Yeah. Jaggu, can I start or I can wait?
You can start.
Okay, Jaggu. So this time, no fill in the blanks. It's open. So you can type anything. So what is the name of first stage of Starship? Is you want? Which SpaceX rocket is fully reusable? Falcon 9 version 1.0, Falcon Heavy, Falcon 9 full thrust block 5, Starship. SpaceX headquarters is in which place? Hawthorne, California, Hawthorne, California, Hawthorne, California, Hawthorne, California.
All spelling looks similar.
Yeah.
Riyaka, can you show the leaderboard?
Yeah, the leaderboard is here. You are the first. What is in Boca Chica? Starbase, SpaceX, Starport, or Starlink?
Boca Chica.
What are the two rockets compared with Boomerang? So the options are Starship, Starlink, Falcon 1, Falcon Heavy. You can choose two.
Starting from a rocket.
Priya has given more time. Should be only 20 seconds. She's given 40 seconds. Anybody can type the entire thing on Google, find out the answers, and take the correct option also.
This question is not in Google. It was my own, and I added in my presentation also only. So this one no problem.
Link is a satellite. The rocket.
It is also a rocket like Starship, but it will launch satellite.
No, it's not it's just a satellite. It's just a group of satellites.
Yeah.
It's not a launch system.
So if all completed, I will end this quickly. Bhairavi and Karthi not completed. Okay. How many days Tesla Roadster takes to do a single rotation? 557 days, 558 days, 556 days, 547 days. So in my presentation, in conclusion, what is the meaning of root of the tree? You can type anything in this, what you learn. It's a full box.
I think it's an open-ended question.
Yeah. So no mistake, nothing. You can type anything. Adrit is typing just random letters.
Blah blah something else.
Yeah. Matesh is correct. Jagu, you also correct, I think. Yeah. So everyone answered. Bhairavi and Aishwarya.
You're not getting points for this.
It have or not, I don't know. It will have.
It will automatically give you something like 1000 points or something.
It will give everybody common points. It will not give different points.
No. It will give based on the time.
Yeah, the faster you type, faster you give the answer.
Yeah. So can I end? Oh, answers. Okay. So responses. Actually, I don't know. Sorry. To do hard work, learn, accept failures, and learn from failures. Aishwarya, it's correct. So next. What is your favorite rocket from SpaceX? You can type anything. Starship, Falcon Heavy, Starship. Oh, Jagu also likes Starship. Bhairavi, Starship.
Go to Mars.
Saturn 5, Adrit, Falcon Heavy. Oh, time entered.
All done.
So, what do you learn from my presentation? It's a bonus. Full question view. What is the reason for success behind Elon Musk? SpaceX rockets, reusable rockets, and where is Tesla Roadster? SpaceX and Starbase.
Is there any points for this?
Yeah, common points for everyone. So,
Okay. You might have given
It's a
all
poll.
of these.
oh,
Yeah, leaderboard, please.
yeah, the questions are completed. So Riyansh is the winner, followed by Srijit, and next is Adrit. Okay, thank you for all who participated in the quiz. I will send the feedback form. Please do fill it because last time only 6 of them did it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Presentation.
It's amazing presentation.
Amazing. Okay, let's do an easy round of applause for the presentation and the quiz.
Satyaki.
Okay, nice. So next, let's welcome our next presenter. That's Karthikeyan. Let me introduce Karthikeyan, the founder of Interesting Talkies. And he is grade 8 student from Jawahar Vidyalaya Senior Secondary School. And again, like Elon Musk's visionary vision SpaceX, so NASA's vision is Artemis program. So most of us have read a lot of things about Artemis. Only very few went on live with the Artemis or part of Artemis. So this is going to be a very interesting topic for everyone. So let's welcome Sri Karthigeyan to do presentation on the Artemis program.
Hello everyone, good evening, and before that, happy Navaratri to all. I am Sri Karthigeyan from Jawahar Vidyalaya Senior Secondary School, grade 8, and my team name is SpaceX, and I am a member of the team in Vaayusastra. And today I'm going to present about the topic, the Artemis program. Jago, can I start sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. About the Artemis program. Short and sweet, this is the humanity's return to the moon. This is a very small moon mission, but it is going to take astronauts. Introduction of the Artemis program. This is a United States-led international human spaceflight program. Its primary goal is to return humans to the moon, specifically the lunar south pole by 2025. They are going to land the rockets with the astronauts to the lunar south pole of the moon by 2025. If it becomes successful, it will include the first crewed lunar landing mission since Apollo 17 in 1972. It is the last lunar flight of the Apollo program. We all have known the Apollo program, in which Neil Armstrong went to the moon too. And you can see this is the lunar south pole of the moon, that blue color. The start date of this program is December 17th, 2017. They have started it, but the first flight of the program will only be launched in February 2022. Its name is Artemis 1, and the cost of the program is 35 billion US dollars. That means about more than 100 billion in rupees. This is the Artemis 1, which is going to be launched in February 2021. And the brief history of the Artemis program. Number 1, this Artemis program incorporates several major components of previous cancelled NASA programs and missions. It takes in many cancelled NASA programs and missions, including the Constellation program and the Asteroid Redirect mission, etc. Number 2, and it is also originally legislated by the NASA Authorization Act of 2005. Number 3, in May 2009, President Barack Obama, the current president now in United States, that time too, established the Augustine Committee to take into account several objectives, including support for the following missions: the International Space Station, development of missions beyond low Earth orbit, LEO, including the moon, Mars, and near Earth objects. And 3, utilization of the commercial space industry within defined budget limits. So they are going to do in budget limits of the commercial space industry. And in March 2018, NASA established the Commercial Lunar Payload Services, CLPS in short form. This program is with the aim of sending small robotic landers and rovers mostly to the lunar south pole region as a precursor to and in support of crewed missions. They are going to be, the robot landers are going to be like backbones of the mission. They are going to land it before the Artemis 1 is they have landed it before the Artemis 1 is going to be launched. And these are the models, as you can see, the 3 models of the first 3 commercial robotic landers selected for commercial lunar payload services. The first phase of the program, the first phase considered capable of delivering at least 10 kg or 22 pound of payload by the end of 2021. They are going to deliver 10 kg of payload to the moon by the end of 2021. And there are proposals for mid-sized landers, as I shown the 3 robots. There are many like that. there are mid-sized landers capable of delivering between 500 kilograms or 1,100 pounds and 1,000 kilograms or 2,200 pounds of cargo. Imagine 500 kilograms of cargo being launched to the moon. It is going to be a very big achievement. It is planned also to be considered for launch beyond 2021 and scouting for lunar resources. In situ resource utilization or ISRO, feasibility testing and lunar science. And this is the in situ resource utilization, or in short form ISRO. And another interesting fact about the program is that NASA has released an official PowerPoint document that I have found in the Artemis program. What they are going to do, it considers 74 pages of chapters and appendix about the marvelous program. Thank you everyone for listening to my presentation. And I also have a YouTube channel called Interesting Talkies where I make lots of interesting videos about science, history, and environmental facts from all around the world. If you are interested, please like and subscribe my channel. And I'll also give my link for my channel. Thank you, everyone.
Nice.
It's amazing and short presentation. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And the group, share your interesting talkies.
1 minute.
If you have any questions related to Artemis, you can ask Karthikeyan.
Any doubts?
Any questions, any doubts? You have quiz, Karthikeyan?
Yeah. 1 minute ago, I will share the link
No.
of my channel and also the quiz.
What is your channel name?
Interesting Talkies.
Actually, your channel is growing very fast.
Thank you. And now only, I think, 245 subscribers.
245. Mine is only 30.
I have pasted my channel link and 1 minute ago, I will paste the link for the quiz too.
No.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
What's happening?
1 minute, please.
Sorry, it's so silent over here. I thought that I had some internet connection issue.
So what do you guys think about Artemis program? So Kashika joined finally.
It's online or a live?
It's a
Online class or a live class? That's program.
That's not a class. That's
That's a program. That's a program or a mission conducted by NASA.
And Madri NASA on the Artemis. But our
That is online or a live?
No. That is going to happen.
It's a rocket.
It's a
Rocket launch.
Rocket launch.
Ade.
It will be there on YouTube also.
அது வந்து அதான் சந்திரன் லான்ச் பண்ணதுல இந்தியா அது மாதிரி NASA is going to do something like Artemis.
Jago, it will be there on NASA's official YouTube channel.
1 minute, Jago.
எப்படி கேட்டுட்டாங்க குழந்தைங்க இதனால தான் ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸ் வச்சு they started asking is it online or live?
We want a live class only.
Live, it is live launch.
No, sir, he's asking.
That Vaayusastra program also we want to live class.
வரேன் சீக்கிரமே வரேன் விழுப்புரம் தானே நீ?
No, Jaku,
ஈரோடா? So we are setting up units very soon.
I think Karthikeyan is facing some problems. Posting the quiz link. The Karthikeyan, tell the quiz code. I'll post.
1 minute.
Yeah, na share the screen. We will have.
Share the screen and then
Share the
and then that.
1 minute, please. 1 minute, please.
Or you want to
Finish
do it
share
after
screen.
Kashika's presentation?
Yes, I will share the link. 1 minute.
Just share the code, even the code is. This is not a
என்னடா ஸ்டார்ட் ஆயிடுச்சு? Is it
No, Jago, I didn't start on it.
Okay, no issue, sir. Okay, I am able to join on this link. Okay.
I don't think so, sir.
Sir, sir, the admin link.
You said the admin.
That's an admit link. Yeah, you can just click on start. Just click on
start for everyone then.
Yeah. Go give challenge, friends.
Give challenge, friends.
Yeah.
என்னடா?
So start. Now is it okay?
There's a code in the right side 9599819.
So okay, sir. I'll
1
copy
minute.
this.
Darsh, come out. I will
Come
share
out now.
screen.
Now I don't require it. I'll just open the quizzes. And I will send the chat box the code.
959.
Get down.
Oh, he got a new link now. 278.
Hey, 1 minute.
So it is there. The code I had was this.
Click start.
I don't.
Wait,
No.
you have to join. If you click start, then you could share a direct link.
Click.
It's now pasted because in the Zoom I have some problem by which I can't copy paste. So link is better for me.
Okay, I think this is the link.
Start.
I joined. Joined it.
Okay. Jago, put that in chat box too. In live.
What the number?
Okay, Jago. About, I think on 10 to 15 people join, I will start.
10 to 15.
Two more.
I think you can start.
Okay.
You need to choose the wrong answer to go to next.
What is the
Even if you choose the wrong answer, it will show the right answer.
Yeah.
Then you should
Okay. Leaderboard.
press the new tab open பண்ணி choose பண்ணு.
Please, no one see my screen. Okay, Matyesh was in the leaderboard.
So you need to choose the new tab, the other tab. அதுவும் பண்ண முடியாது actually. At least you should not share the screen. Just read out the questions.
Okay, Jagu.
Because anyway it's showing the answer. I read out the
The
question.
Artemis program will return humans to the moon by dash. The moon's
What?
dash by 2025.
The program will be
Okay. Adrit is in the first. When did the program start? Okay, Adrit is first and CEO of Aerospace Now. It's second. Okay. No, Satyaki is second. Proposals for dash capability.
the first.
Sri Ajit seventh. Full form of what is the full form of ISRO?
I didn't listen to the presentation.
And guys, for the 9th question, the second option is A and C, not A and B. I did. Okay, who is in the first? Okay, Adrit is first, 8,600 points. Okay, Satyaki second, CEO of Aerospace Now.
Anna, share a screen.
Jagu takes screenshot.
Don't show your score. Go down. Only read.
1 minute. Okay, who won?
It's Adrit.
Adrit.
Yeah.
Adrit.
Congratulations, Adrit.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Karthikeyan.
Yeah.
Welcome. Any doubts?
No doubts, Anna.
No doubts.
How was my presentation? Jagu, you
It's
also.
amazing and short presentation.
Thank you.
Well done, well done. Thank you so much. So you
Thank you, Jagu.
It is a
Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Karthikeyan. Let me welcome next presenter. So even though, yeah, so after, I think she has a lot of technical issues. Finally, she somehow joined. So Kashika. So she's a grade 9 student from KV Ashok Nagar. And she's going to present on the topic, the Beaver lunar eclipse. I know lunar eclipse.
What Jagu? Beaver.
Yeah, I don't know what is this Beaver lunar eclipse. So let's find what is this Beaver lunar eclipse. So Kashika, you can start. Kashika, are you there? Hello.
I don't think she can unmute Jagu. Yes,
Okay.
serious issues.
Follow.
Right. Sorry, Jagadeesh. I wasn't able to unmute myself.
Okay. Okay.
So, yes, we'll learn about the Beaver lunar eclipse. So, I don't know how many of you know about this. So, there was an eclipse yesterday, but it wasn't visible from India. But still, there were a lot of live shows, live streams. But there was something very special about this particular eclipse because this was the longest partial eclipse in over 580 years. That is like 5 centuries. So I don't know how many of you are interested in astronomy. Raise your hand. Put up your hands. If you're interested in astronomy, the CTO of Aerospace Now. Riya is interested in astronomy, and Anish is also interested in astronomy, right? Because everyone is. So the first thing, when we get interested in space, the first thing that we see is that astronomy. Wow, astronomy is the first thing when we kind of look up in space. The space science, astronomy is one of the popular sciences, right? So, and this Beaver lunar eclipse. So, and I have one question before I start the presentation. You can put your hands down because I'll ask the question. If you know the answer, you can put your hands down. So, I say that the Beaver lunar eclipse. So, usually when there's an eclipse and stuff, we say it as the lunar eclipse, or we have an eclipse coming up. So, what do you think is this Beaver eclipse? You have internet at your disposal. Go and search up on the internet. There's no restrictions. Go ahead and do it. Anish, do you want to say something?
I forgot to raise down my hand.
All right. Any idea what the Beaver lunar eclipse is? This is not a very popular topic, but definitely you can go up and search up on the internet once again if you want. Did anyone get the answer? Something in the chat. It is called a blood moon. Yeah, this blood moon concept we'll actually discuss this in the presentation. Why is it called a blood moon and stuff? So all right, let me go ahead with the presentation. So it's called the Beaver lunar eclipse. So and it is why is that? So usually in the early period, yeah, it's the longest partial lunar eclipse. That's the specialty about this particular eclipse. So Riya has put up in the chat that it is the longest partial lunar eclipse by an
Akka, you zoom out the screen, Akka.
What happened?
Yeah, it's June. Yeah,
You
now
see-
it is. Now it is.
You can see the screen properly, right?
Yeah, Akka, now.
All right. Super. Before we had before we had clocks, what do you think? We had the moon, the sun as our time clock, right? So when the sun comes up, we know the next morning has started. When the moon has set, the sun starts to rise. The moon has come up. We say it is night. So usually what they did is that so the European people, ancient European people, the tribal people, and Native Americans were usually tribal people in the ancient time. What they did is that so in every month, we have full moon, right? We have full moon for every month. So what they did is that they gave a name for that particular full moon for every month. For instance, for January it's called the full wolf moon because during that time the wolf, they start to howl. They start to howl and then they start to make noises, and that's when they know it is January and this is called the full wolf moon. And in February, it's called the full snow moon because, trust me, this is again this is for Native American tribal people. So this is based on their geographical location. This is based on what they observed in nature or a change in nature, change in season. So February is called the full snow moon because the snow starts to come up. They actually see the snow. And then March, actually, it's called a full warm moon because after the snow kind of settles down, it melts, and then the worm comes out of the soil. So it's called a full worm moon. And trust me, take a look at this. This might come up in the. All right. So April we have a full pink moon. That's when early spring starts. And then May it's called a full flower moon because flowers starts to blossom. And June full strawberry moon. After the flower blossoms, the next step is the fruit comes, right? So after flower, fruit comes. So exactly May full flower moon, and then full on June we have full strawberry moon. That's when the fruit starts, right? And July, I don't know how many of you know this. So July is usually this is the year, right? This is called the bug year. What happens is that you see the antlers, you see their stems, right? So they grow. So they grow at a particular time. They break and they grow at a particular time. So when this starts to grow, this antler starts to grow, and that's usually July. And July, how do they indicate it? When this grows, they know that it's a full bug, and they know that it's July. And also, as usual, we have for August we have full Sturgeon moon. Sturgeon is a tribal group who go hunting, who go for fishing in the river, and they catch a lot of fish. So it's called the full Sturgeon moon. And September it's called the full corn moon. Actually, September and October both are collectively called as full harvest moon. But you can. But here in this particular chart, they are divided into two separate things. It also makes sense. Maybe in that area, in that people, Native Americans might have grown corn, so they might have named September as full corn moon. And October, after the corn are they have ripe all this, and October they start hunting because November and December usually is what? The cold season, right? So they won't go hunting in the cold season. So September it's called the full corn moon, or October is called the full hunter moon, and November. So in this particular chart, they are given that as full bear moon or full beaver moon. Alright, so that's how the name the beaver lunar eclipse comes. Because what month is this? Which month is this? This is the November month, right? So for November month, it's bear moon, but it's also called the beaver moon. So what usually particularly the beaver moon is more popular than bear moon. So it's called, so the activity of beavers grow higher, right? So the beaver starts to come out, they start to go out, they start to roam a lot. So that's why it's called the November full moon. It's called the full beaver moon. And remember, an eclipse only happens when there is a full moon, when there is only a full moon. And December, obviously, it's a full moon. We all know that. All right. So the first thing before I go into this presentation stuff, I would like to ask you one thing. So I would like to say and ask you one thing. So everything in our solar system is not even, right? Everything has its own orbit. Everything goes around its own orbit. Everything goes around its ecliptic path, right? So if you could see, I want to turn on the laser. All right. So yeah. So here you see the green line, right? Just focus on this green line, particular green line. So here, the distance between this green line and this sun is a bit shorter comparatively from sun to here, right? You can notice that here the distance is longer, but here the distance is a bit shorter. So here what you can observe is that it is not a perfect circle, right? It is not a perfect circle. It's ecliptic. This particular path is called ecliptic. And also everything is not even. Look at that. This yellow is there, but then this orange is a bit below. I don't know if you can see this particular in this image, but maybe you can notice this bit quite a bit in the outer rings. If you can see, they are not ecliptic, so they are not in the same plane. If this is the plane, if this is particular orbit of some planet, they might be going in this particular planet. Maybe let's say this is Mercury, but then Venus might be going in this path. It might go like this. So the first thing that you have to know is that everything is not in the same plane. Everything is not going in an equal path, equal orbit. No, that is not right. Let's check. Yeah, Riya S J. It's called ecliptic orbits. And okay, yeah, CTO of Aerospace Now is the Dakshin side. Is the Dakshin?
Dakshin is the CEO. It's Riyansh.
Okay. Oh, Rakshan is the CT. Oh, CTO is?
Riyansh.
Oh, Riyansh. The 3.5 hours, actually it's for 6 hours. So it's for 3.5 hours, is 3 hours, 21 minutes, 23 seconds. That is when it goes into the darkest part of the shadow, which actually I'll discuss in the upcoming slide. And VIS, it's ecliptic orbit. And so, yeah, this is called the orbital. This is called the orbital. All right. So let me go into another concept, an eclipse. So how many? Okay, before going into this vague definition, I want to know like what do you have in mind if I say eclipse? What do you think? What is an eclipse? Any answers? You can put that in the chat or open your mic. What do you think an eclipse is? I'm not questioning this. We are discussing.
A star is emitting light to the moon of a planet, which the shadows is being reflected to the planet.
That's a good definition. That's a good explanation.
Can I?
Yeah, the answer.
Yeah. So it is basically for one heavenly body comes in between the sun and another heavenly body and creates a dark black shadow on the other heavenly body. So it's called an eclipse.
Perfect. That's also a great explanation. So as Riyan says heavenly body, he just means the celestial bodies. It might be a advanced term for some. All right. So Dash, do you have anything to say?
No, by mistake I unmuted.
Oh, it's okay. So I think you all have a pretty good grasp on what an eclipse is. But for the sake of the presentation, let's go over it again. All right. An eclipse. So usually, let's say I have the sun. I want you to see my camera now on the presentation. So this is the sun. All right. My fist is the sun. So my fist is the sun, and then in between I have, let's say I have the moon. All right. Let's say I have the moon, and then my head is the sun. My head is the sun. In between I have the moon. All right. We all know that moon does not have its own light, right? Moon does not have its own light. But sun emits the light. So the particular eclipse that I'm explaining is the lunar eclipse. All right, there's two types of eclipse: solar and lunar eclipse. So a vague definition of eclipse is when one celestial body, usually the sun, the moon or the earth, moves into the shadow of the another. All right, that is a vague explanation. But into the concept is that, particularly, I'll start off by explaining the lunar eclipse because that is the star of our presentation. So lunar eclipse happens when the earth is in the middle and the sun is on the other side and the earth is on the other side. I want you to see this particular this image. This is a lunar eclipse. All right, what happens here is the sun gives light, right? Because the moon does not have its own light. And you might ask, because all right, so we have the sun, all right. The moon, the earth is in the middle, and then all right, we have the moon right now. The moon takes up the sun's light, and then it reflects back to us. That's how we see moon, right? So, and then we have the sun gives the light, and then what happens is that usually the moon manages to get some light, because you might ask, because the moon goes around the earth every day, and then the moon every day every month there is a full moon, right? And then why don't we get a lunar eclipse every month? That's not true, because I just explained the orbital plane, it's not in the same part. The earth is in 24.5 degree tilt, and the moon is also in 5 degree tilt around the earth. It's going in a 5 degree tilt around the earth. All right. So that means that what happens is that this is a rare occurrence where everything comes in the same alignment. So what happens is that the sun gives off the light, and then the earth blocks it. We block it. Let's say earth and we block it. And the moon, what happens is that it comes into the shadow of the earth. And exactly what happens for a solar eclipse is that from our observing point, the sun is a bit farther and the moon is a bit closer. So what happens is that the moon and the sun seem as the same size for us here on earth, right? The first thing is that what happens is that the moon comes in between, and then it blocks the sun for some minutes. And there's no types of solar eclipse, types of lunar eclipse stuff, but then we won't go that deep. So I want to introduce this concept of umbra and penumbra. There's the darkest part of the shadow is called the umbra. The lightest part of the shadow is called the penumbra. This light part is penumbra. This dark part is umbra. All right, that is the concept of the eclipse. All right, I don't know if you have time to do an activity and stuff, but I'm just going to give you this activity that you can actually that you can actually try to perform in your home. What you can just do is that take a sheet of A4 sheet, or just go into your wall. What you can do is that take a flashlight or torch. You can just use the flash that you have in your phone now. I have a flash in your phone, right? You can use that flash. What you can do is that you can put that in the wall. You can show that in your wall, and then you can put your finger in between the torch, and then you'll see that there's a darker part of the shadow, and then you'll see there's a lighter part of the shadow. Just try doing this activity after the presentation is over, or else I will try to do this activity after the presentation is over. Right? All you need is a flash or a torch, your choice. And then again, the lighter part is called the penumbra. The darker part of the shadow is called umbra. All right, I hope this is clear. Okay. Now, why I'm bringing in this concept of transit and occultation we talk later. Eclipse and transit. So eclipse is one sort of transit. But I'm going to explain the concept of transit, and then I'm going to ask you a question. All right? Just listen to this carefully. So what happens is that when a object that is much smaller than the object, so okay, I'll explain this concept. The bigger object that is behind, that it's crossing by, it's called an eclipsed body. Eclipsed means it's passed by. That is the one that focusing on. That is the center. And this body, that's moving, it's called the eclipsing body. All right, because this is moving. So the word transit itself means passing by. It means itself passing by. All right. So the sun, it's a sun or any other star, you can see. So what happens is that when a tinier object passes by a larger object, it's called a transit, and it passes by. For example, we had a Venus transit in 2014, and also we had we usually have a lot of transit of ISS. So I don't know if you can go and look up this image. What happens is that a body comes in, and then it passes by like this, and you can see in this GIF kind of GIF or GIF. So this is, how many of you are aware of the transit method? Put up your hands.
What is this transit method? Because most of the Kepler planets discovered by transit method.
Anush, do you want to explain the transit method? You want to just say what it is? Anush?
Yeah, Akka. Like when something passes through a big object, in the when you see it in the time, when where there's a star, and you are looking for extraterrestrial planets, and when you look at that, and in that when you see the star, when in that length bar graph, so if you see that when the light will be at the same level, and when an object passes through, it gets dimmer, and when the object finishes passing through, the light gets normal. So that's what I said.
That's a perfect explanation. That's exactly what transit method is. Exactly as he explained. We could actually look at this particular graph. The object is passing by, but as soon as it touches the star, the light dims. The light goes down, and then after it passes by, usually the light, or you can say the brightness of the star, is dim. Right? Now I want to ask you all a question. We saw eclipse and we saw transit. Now, can you say why don't we say eclipse is in transit? Because both of it is passing by, right? Both of it is passing by. But why don't we say an eclipse is a transit? Why do we say that as two different things? Again, if you have listened, you can answer. But even though it's not, we have internet.
It is from the perspective of the planet. So this is the eclipse basically means shadow. I think it's a Greek or Latin term. So lunar eclipse means shadow of moon. Solar eclipse the shadow of sun. There is, unless the planet has nothing to do with the shadow. I don't know.
Exactly, sir. Usually, eclipse involves the size and the shadows, right? Transit, they just pass by. Also, in eclipses, both of them are in comparable sizes. For instance, an eclipse, actually, Riya kind of says that it hides the whole planet. And that's actually true. That is because they are in relatable sizes. So, from Earth, what we see is that the moon is also in the same size as the sun, right? So, they are in relatable sizes, right? So, but for here, okay, I think I'm in a different side. Why am I in a different side? All right. So here, what do you notice? Okay. Here, what you notice is that from here we see that the moon and the sun are in the same sizes. But in the transit method, what we notice is that the object that is, the object that is eclipsing, it is actually much bigger than the object that is being eclipsed. This is okay. Again, this thing, the big star is called the eclipse star because it's getting passed by, and the small black one, this planet or asteroid, anything it is called the eclipsing body. All right. So the eclipsing object is much tinier than the object that is being eclipsed. That's the simple definition of transit. Again, the next topic is the occultation. This is all very astronomical terms. I don't want to confuse you with all this, but occultation is when occultation, or the word itself means completely occulted, completely blocked. So if I have this tiny phone here, this is the tiny phone right here, and then I'm going to keep my hand, and then my hand entirely covers this phone, right? That's exactly what happens in this star. So, for example, here I have the moon or the earth, whatever, and we have a star, a distant star here. This red point, if you notice, this is called the Aldebaran star. This is something that actually happened in 2017. Aldebaran star, which from us, it's a very tiny star. You might ask, but the star is but that huge. How can the moon completely block it? But from us, from Earth view, the star is really tiny, like a dot, but the moon is way bigger. What happens is that the moon, the lunar occultation, it's known as lunar occultation. There's stellar occultation, but don't concentrate on stellar occultation. Just concentrate on lunar occultation, that is more common. And then there's asteroid occultation. That exactly means when one object blocks the other object. So now I have an example. The solar eclipse. The solar eclipse isn't exactly a occultation, but a total solar eclipse is. A total solar eclipse is when the sun is completely covered by the moon. All right, that is an example of a total complete solar eclipse. So what happens is that the moon entirely covers the sun, right? Then that is basically the definition of occultation. Occultation means completely covering a body, And an importance of an occultation is, so if I see that I have a star right here, right? There's a star right here, and then I don't think okay. All right, I'm going. Okay, look at my screen again. I'm going to look at my phone. Sorry, my camera again, and then this is my fist. All right, this is my fist, and then I'm producing some light. And imagine you'll be able to see this. Imagine this light is the star. This flashlight. I'll turn my background off so that you can see this more clearly. Alright, so basically what I'm trying to explain here is the importance of occultation. You might ask, we have an eclipse, we have this and that. Why do we consider this as a big importance? So basically the thing is, Okay, notice my fist. All right, notice my fist. Imagine this is the stars, or this flashlight is the star. All right, and this is the moon. So you know that moon has a lot of craters, a lot of mountains and stuff. And then imagine this thing. This is a mountain. This is a mountain. This is a mountain. So when the moon so the star is static, right? When the moon covers the star, what happens is that at this part it gets covered, all right. But when the sun moves, we see the brightness because there's a crater right down there. There's a crater. That means that there's some space. There's a valley right down there, all right. When here it passes, and then again the brightness of the sun comes. When a mountain again covers a star, and then again we go down, and then we see the brightness again. So using this, what we can say is that we can actually predict a planetary surface of a planet which is actually occulting something. Alright, so we can use this technique to find a planetary surface of another distant object. Next slide now. Main star of the topic, the lunar eclipse. So there are 3 types of lunar eclipse: total lunar eclipse, partial, penumbral lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse happens when moon passes in front of Earth's shadow. We all know that, right? So also remember, a lunar eclipse will only happen during a full moon, alright? So total lunar eclipse is when the moon is completely covered by the Earth's shadow, and then a partial lunar eclipse is when when the moon is partially, not completely clear. The moon is not completely covered with the shadow, but then it's partially covered. And then penumbral, I talked about the umbra and penumbra, right? So penumbra is the lightest part of the shadow. And here, right here, you can see that. Right here, there's a light dark shade right down there. That basically means the penumbral part of the shadows, eclipsing it. That's it. And usually the eclipse that we had on November 19 was a penumbral lunar eclipse for us in India. Alright, I'm going to show you another image quite soon. Alright, what do you notice here? I want you, unmute, put that in the chat or something. What do you notice in this particular slide? Anyone? Anything that you notice very peculiar about this? Very interesting about this particular slide, the way the moon acts?
It's red in the left side. From dark it becomes red.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes red. Usually, I don't know how many of you noticed during a during a lunar eclipse, the moon usually turns red. You know why? Yeah, the color, Riya also answered in the chat, the color of the moon turns red. But has anyone else wondered why it's blood moon, exactly. I remember someone put blood moon. I think Riya said blood moon at the beginning of the presentation. Yeah, Riya said that. So blood moon, this is where the blood moon concept comes. What is that the color of the moon turns red, and that is basically why we call it the blood moon. So people usually throw parties during this time. They throw scary parties with all the ghosts, and they tell ghost stories because the moon turns red and stuff. We know that it's a myth. That there's a science behind it. There's no ghosts. Right. Halloween. Yeah, Halloween, they actually dedicate a day for ghosts. That's fun, right? So now, why is the moon red? Let's know why is the moon red. Alright?
Because it's close to sunlight.
It's a good answer. Usually, what happens is that there is an
Can I
effect.
do an guess out? Is it due to the UV radiation of the sun?
Is it type of dispersion of light sort of?
Or maybe the dust is because sometimes the moon become yellow also due to the dust.
Alright. This is actually called the ray scattering. During sunset and sunrise, we see oranges kind of sky, right? That's because of this Rayleigh scattering. This Rayleigh scattering is named after a British scientist who discovered this phenomenon. All right. What happened? We know that the sun, here's the sun, and during a lunar eclipse, the sun is trying to reach light to the moon, but again the Earth is blocking blocking the light from getting into the moon, right? So what happens is that when the light passes through the Earth's atmosphere, what happens is that there's something called wavelengths of light. You know that light is made up of both waves and
Vidya.
particles. Yeah.
Vidya.
Yeah, Vibgyor,
The
exactly.
colors of the rainbow.
Exactly. Vibgyor. You might have learned it in third standard. Yeah. Vibgyor, that's exactly what it is. So light has 7 colors, right? There are high wavelengths and low wavelengths for particular colors. So usually the violet, blue, and all those colors fall into the shorter wavelength. Change the color. For instance, we have red, right? Red usually has a wavelength like this. It has a wavelength which is usually higher, right? But instance we have blue, purple, and stuff. What happens to them is that they have a shorter wavelength. What happens is that when this spectrum of light, when they pass through the atmosphere, what happens is that they get absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere. So what happens is that this blue light, they get absorbed, so they get cancelled out. So what happens is that the left out light is the red, orange, and stuff, and that's why the moon turns red, because the light is passing through the Earth in order to reach the moon, right, during a lunar eclipse. Let's clear all drawings now. Alright. This is called the Rayleigh scattering. Alright. Also, you have to know this, this also scatters the light. That is the phenomenon. Violet and blue, exactly. Yeah. They get absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere due to all these things in our atmosphere. That is called the Rayleigh scattering, and that is the science behind bloody moon. Now, actually coming to the eclipse that happened yesterday, and I want anyone. I hope you have the annotation option. Now, just annotate where you can locate India. Just annotate on the screen to see where you can see India right here in this world map. If you can find
I
it,
can't see because I can see only till Africa. I cannot see Asia.
I can see it. It's in the left side. It's small.
all right.
I can only see till Africa. Oh,
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that.
Okay. I was seeing from here to here only.
Okay. Right. Exactly. That is the okay. That is India, right? So now I want you to look at where is the darkest part of the shadow, where is the lightest part of the shadow. Write the right terms for it. Which is the umbra, which is the penumbra. Yes, I think now. Yes, yeah. That is. What is that red line? I think she's typing something. Waiting for this. All right. So anyone has the answer, you can go ahead and put the annotate in the screen. Exactly. That is the penumbra, and the outer part, the outer light shadow is the penumbra. Oh, Anush, actually, all right. Anush, I see. All right. That is the penumbra. Exactly. Matish got it right. And so this light part of the shadow that you see right here, right? This is called the penumbra. And this entire dark part of the shadow, this is called umbra. I hope you got this concept right, because this is important. Not just, for the presentation, for the case of quiz and stuff, but may be important for your future as well if you're interested in space and would like to pursue a career in it. Just astronomy, this is the basic. Right? So most of you can see that. Okay, most of that we can see that it's mostly happening in the Pacific Ocean, but it's also happening in Australia, and then Russian people also can see it. But mostly in India, maybe the northeast people can actually see it. Also the penumbral side, so it will more probably look like nothing. But still, there are a lot of live YouTube streams that are happening all around the world, so that people who are not much privileged to watch all this, they will have a chance to watch all this, right? Okay, and also the specialty about this eclipse is that it is the longest in 580 years. Actually, Riya mentioned this in the beginning of the presentation itself, and actually someone mentioned it I want to see if that is. Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
the. Yeah.
It lasted about 3.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, 3.5 hours exactly. I was getting to that point. So 3.5 hours is that the umbra part. So the moon comes crosses this path, right? So from here, from this starting from this entire black part, it is called the umbra. So for the umbra part, it takes 3.5 hours, exactly 3 hours, 21 minutes, 23 seconds, and entirely including the penumbra, it almost takes 6 hours. That is crazy for me because that is the longest eclipse and that is a hat trick for astronomers. This entirety takes 6 hours. This entire thing takes 6 hours, but only this dark part, this dark umbra, you see, this lasts for 3 hours as Anushka. All right. Oh, it's Riyansh. All right, Riyansh did say that. Yeah, CTO of Aerospace. All right. Now this is the second of the year. I'm gonna add here all the dots. Right. This is the second eclipse of the year. One was on May 26th, but the one that we had yesterday is also sort of similar to the one that happened on May 26th, but is also a bit different in some way. If you want to know how, I just we are almost at the end of the presentation. I feel like this is the longest presentation that I have done, but I feel that I hope you're learning a lot here. And this is a very lucky day for astronomers. What is that? Is that because mostly the Earth will cover 97% of the moon's shadow, right? The moon's shadow will cover, 97% of the moon's diameter. So this is the diameter of the moon. The scale you see right here, this is the diameter of the moon. So it will be immersed in the umbral shadow. Umbral is the darkest part of the shadow, right? And also obviously it will be the most amazing side. If you haven't seen it, there are so many webinars that's being conducted by so many amazing astronomers around YouTube. You can go ahead and check it out. All right. So I'd like to end this presentation by saying one small thing is that we human civilization started looking up at the night sky with so much passion, and which led us to finally even landing on the moon, right? And the small look for us in the sky made us venture into space. Thank you. I hope you learned a lot in this.
It's an amazing presentation. We learned many things.
Amazing.
Superb, Kashika.
Oh, yes.
You say so.
Oh, this is a separate video as well. Nice.
One thing, Jago, she gives credits for each and everything.
Any quiz?
Yeah, there is a quiz. There is a quiz, but it is not very long. I don't know because maybe I thought this will be a very long presentation, right? So I want to make the quiz a little short. So just by then I'll pull out the quiz. Just if you have any questions, because we covered a lot of astronomical terms right here. So if you have any questions about this presentation, feel free to ask. Any questions, guys?
Any questions?
No questions.
I hope you enjoy the presentation. Let me pull out the quiz. Give me 3 seconds or 5 seconds. It's taking some time to. Also, in the meantime, there is a website called where you can check when the next occultation is happening, and then you can go ahead and then you can capture your own next occultation. You can publish your own data. Share my screen. Thank you, Riya. All right, the quiz is starting. There's the quiz link. We got the quiz link. Put the quiz link one sec. This is the quiz link, and this is the game code. All right, join and waiting for you. So at least, at least 10 people join.
One
Or
second,
9 people
I'm
join.
joining.
Search.
Yeah, just think I'm joining, so don't start it. Yeah, now I
Alright.
joined.
This when 9 people join, we start. Well, the quiz is not even going to be that hard. It's just going to be simple concepts of what we discuss. So don't be scared. Feel free to join. Ah, is there only 3 people? 4 people have joined.
Kashika, please wait 1 minute.
Sure. Wait for everyone. We'll wait till when we have 2 more minutes for everyone to join.
Mhm.
Was this presentation too long?
No, it's nice only. It's informative.
Because
It doesn't matter if it's very long.
the amount
As
of
long as
content
it's informative, then
time taken. The amount of content to cover was much more.
Should I start the quiz now, sir? Or?
yeah, you can start.
Okay. Start. See, the music is not working. I'm going to go to questions. Okay. The first question we discussed at the beginning of the presentation. What is the full moon of the month March called? So I think actually I don't actually never understand this. So in first question there will be no correct answer or wrong answer, but in the next second question there will be correct and wrong answer. I don't understand how they completed first and then they directly went to second. Okay, yeah. The second question is when lunar eclipse occurs, and when did lunar eclipse happen? When does lunar eclipse happen? So next we have the correct option. This is tricky. Antumbra, it is a thing. Alright guys, Antumbra, it's the shadow that's behind Umbra. Alright. Maybe I left it out in the presentation. So we have why don't we have a lunar eclipse every month? I think we went over this quite good. I forgot incorrect. For the leaderboard ones. Alright, Anush says 3 streaks and is getting all right. And we have Dash. Because astronomy in this kind of topics involves a lot of factors. You have to learn a lot about it. I won't say that you have to get all of these concepts at right once, eclipse, transits, occultation, conjunction, elongation. All these topics are quite, you have to take some time to research about it on your own so that you can actually.
Sarika, I did not join the game because internet connection cost. Sorry.
You can't join it now. It's fine. Just take a look at the question to see how much. Try joining now as well. Game code. Yeah, 60% accuracy, guys.
Kai, it's login, so only we will go inside.
Yeah, you can only play it once.
Yeah, you can play it once only. I put the option this time. Oh, did I end it?
Oh God.
Everybody finished it, so it got ended.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Oh.
the people some people they will be googling, so they'll take long time.
Then it,
Everyone is finished it.
Yeah, there'll be some people who will like they'll
All
join
right.
in different devices and all and join.
Amazing. You all got it amazing, right? So I think exact this question got a lot of incorrect. A lunar eclipse only happens when the moon falls into the Earth's shadow. So the Earth has to be in the center, the sun has to be on the right side, the moon has to be in the left or right. You got this again clear? Oh, this all of them have got it right. And Antamra is a real thing, so every option is right down here. And why don't we get a lunar eclipse every month? Because the moon's path around the sun is tilted, the solar system is tilted. But what the question is why lunar eclipse? So the moon is tilted. I think it's the sun.
Kashika, for the fourth question, what's the answer? I got it wrong.
Actually, I think we forgot to discuss in the presentation.
or
Antamra. Yeah, it's actually all of the three slides. We discussed umbra, the darker part of the shadow, penumbra, the lightest, or outer part of the shadow, and umbra is the partly shaded area below the beyond the umbra. There is I'll show you a picture of it.
Okay.
All right. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll send a picture of it.
Yeah, Kavi, enjoy your presentation plus all those things.
Nice, nice. Well done, Kashika. That's a nice presentation. A lot of new information, a lot of new things.
Very nice presentation.
Very creative as well.
Yeah, and very interactive.
Yeah. Well done. So let's give a huge round of applause for Kashika. Kashika, she learned how to build rover, like yeah, mobile controlled rover, robot. You can say she is going to learn how to build rockets. She is in level 5, I guess. So, in regular program, not on. Online she finished everything. Offline. Yeah.
tomorrow Jagu we are going to see presentation.
So thank you.
We are approximately going to take an hour.
Approximately
1 hour minimum.
1 hour. Okay.
And then we have quizzes also. And
Yeah. That's all. There are no issues. Right. We finish up the two kids tomorrow.
first you can take the solos. Jagu.
Yeah, solos we finish it because one kid is Sunena is presenting for the first time.
So entry live stream.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, audience, for being. Today we had a lot of interesting topics. Everything I like very like. I liked all the topics very much. This was unique.
Naman's topic was my favorite, Jagu.
Naman's topic also
This thing, his
excellent. But I felt the Beaver one is a little more new.
Yeah, Beaver is
A new topic.
and
Beaver one was very.
But the way Naman described the entire planet, it was super.
yeah. So then this Riya's thing was emotional. Karthikeyan's thing was kind of informative because we got used to Artemis. So
When I was researching that only, I found more information about that program, Jagu.
Karthikeyan was telling he was able to find one actual PPT which NASA shared. Nice, well done. So I liked all the topics and I can see the level. It just notched up the professionalism. Like it's next level. It is now. It's yeah. It's better, much better to how where we started at first. So well done. So we will keep. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow. For chapter number 31 with one youngest presenter from like she's in grade 2. Okay, see you all.